The drones are the real star of the Winter Olympics.
Some people hate the noise that the drones make.
And I hear that. I gotta be honest, the sound of the Olympic drones when you're watching, it's pretty irritating. They're getting awesome footage. They've got the human pilots on the drones chasing behind the people. They're using first-person DJI virtual reality goggles. So they're seeing right out of the real-time camera on the drone.
How much of the drone operation is human controlled here?
It's a real mix, right? Obviously, it's computers that are stabilizing the drone. There's a lot of tracking software to keep the camera tracking the athlete, but it's actual human beings on them. So there are a total of 25 drones at the Olympics, and 15 of them are these first-person video FPV ones. And those are the ones where the guys are wearing the goggles and actually piloting. From what they see, they are flying behind the skier. But it's a real mix. There is software keeping the thing from tipping over and to make sure that it does exactly what they say to do on the joysticks.
So why do you think they're not fully automated?
I think they don't trust it. 11 years ago, there was that incident where a drone fell during a race and just missed hitting a skier. We saw the Amazon delivery drone slam into an apartment building just a couple weeks ago, and that was bad.
And that was an AI controlled.
That was an AI-controlled drone. It was a very large building. I don't know how it missed it. It didn't even look like one that was all mirrors. They don't quite trust it. I don't doubt that 8 years from now, this will all be AI. But right now, you want a human on the loop because it would be so bad to fly a drone into an athlete in the middle of an Olympic contest.
Right. They are a lot smaller now.
Oh, they're a lot smaller, right? The one that fell 11 years ago was big enough that it really would have hurt someone. Now, a lot of them are half a pound. All of the drones are custom built, designed to do different sports.
Real-time camera.
Right. Each of these drones have 2 cameras on them. They have a real-time camera, which is sending fairly low-resolution video immediately. And that's what's going right to the headset of the operator. So for the real-time video, they've got DJI Goggles 3, and on the unit, they have the DJI O4 Air unit, and that's what they're using to stream back. Right, so DJI stuff similar to what you can get on consumer drones.
Line of sight.
Line of sight, it's just going straight from the drone to his headset, no steps in the middle, low resolution, and that lets him fly in real time. I've seen numbers like 15 milliseconds of latency. I also saw 40 somewhere else. So you're seeing slightly different numbers. But the big camera that they each carry for doing the high definition video that we're seeing on TV, it has more latency because it does more compression. It's sending more video, bigger frames.
So how is that high definition video getting from the drone to the broadcast?
Yeah, they're using what's called a COFDM system.
COFDM.
COFDM. Coded Orthogonal Frequency Division Multiplexing. The OFDM part, that just says it's sending a wide signal with lots of carriers, which honestly is what Wi-Fi does these days. But the coded is that there's a whole extra layer of error correction. The bits of video are actually being sent multiple times on different frequencies to make sure they get through because there's no second chance. They're going live to broadcast, and if it loses some frames, they're lost, right? The TV blanks out, you miss an important part. So it's essentially sending the video multiple times so the computer puts back together, so even if there's some sort of glitch, it should still get through. But what we're seeing for the high definition video is they're using the Domo Pico TXR. And this is the COFDM radio that I was talking about. It sends high resolution video on a very wide signal, kind of sending every bit multiple times. So even if there's a bit of interference or a bit of static, it still gets through.
I saw that COFDM uses thousands of subchannels. Is that true?
Yeah, so in an OFDM signal, it's a wide signal, 20, 60, 80, 160 megahertz wide. It's not one carrier going that fast. It's actually lots of little carriers, many at like kilohertz bandwidth depending on the system. So they're very slowly, each one sending one bit for a while and then changing the next bit, but sending so many bits at once that you end out with high bandwidth.
Does that make the signal more reliable?
Yes, where it really shines is multipath. If the signal, goes straight from the receiver to you, that's fine. But what happens if it bounces off a big patch of ice and then arrives a little bit later? Now, speed of light, it's not much later, but it shows up later because it followed a longer path. Well, with COFDM, or any OFDM, the individual bits change so slowly that it's probably still on the same bit when the reflection gets there. So the reflection adds up and gives you a stronger signal instead of interfering. If it was instead going as fast as it could on one carrier, although it give you the same bandwidth, the reflection would be so far behind it would be confusing and it would corrupt your data. So that's the big OFDM trick, right? Reflections actually help you. and they give you a louder signal with the bits you want.
Very cool.
It is very cool.
There's Wi-Fi infrastructure at the Olympics. Does that interfere with the drones?
It's a very carefully managed environment. HP Enterprise is managing all the Wi-Fi hotspots. They're coordinating which drones are using which frequencies and which hotspots are where. And they have a whole system of running fiber optics to all the hotspots and all the different race areas. It's a very controlled environment.
Right.
There are hotspots, but it's not random people plugging in Wi-Fi hotspots on whatever channels they want. Yeah, so the Domo Pico, you can tune the frequencies across a couple bands. It supports 2 to 2.7 gigahertz, 4.9 to 6 gigahertz, basically the same bands Wi-Fi is using. So I think they're just carefully coordinating which drones are using which channel and which Wi-Fi hotspots are using which channel. Another interesting challenge is just the cold. As anyone who owns an electric car knows, like, you can't store as much in a battery if it's cold. And holy cow, is it cold on the side of the mountain, the Winter Olympics, racing after skiers. So the batteries don't last long at all. So they have these heated cases full of batteries. And between each race, they have basically a pit crew that pops out the batteries, slams in a warm one, and gets it, back up and running for the next race. It's hard to maintain a voltage at that kind of cold.
So is there anything they can do about the drone noise?
Yeah, I think there is, but it's a tougher problem than you would think. You'd kind of think, well, what the drone sounds like, you should be able to subtract that out of the audio. But the drones are changing the propeller speeds all the time. That's how they maneuver, is they're revving the motors up and down to different speeds. And so that's changing all the time. And then there's Doppler. If a drone is moving towards you versus away from you, it's like when a police car passes you. It gets higher pitched as it's coming towards you and lower pitched as it goes away. So even if you know what it sounds like, that's not what's going to sound like on your video. And then there's the fact that every drone is different, right? They're all handmade, so they don't all sound the same. They can't just figure out what one drone sounds like and take it out. I think they're going to get there. I think there's going to be smart software probably 4 or 8 years from now that will subtract out the drone sounds, but it's not as simple as it.
Or maybe hardware improvements. I don't know if the propellers themselves could get quieter.
Yeah, there's been a lot of work in quieter propeller design, but they're pushing air, right? I mean, they're gonna make noise. But my understanding is the athletes don't hear it because the skiers, they A, have helmets on, B, they're zipping down the slope at 80 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour. There's so much wind in their face. They're not hearing the drones that are staying behind them, right?